Let's get started with our first news story because this one is absolutely wild. Khamzat Chimaev wanted $700,000 from a streamer. Yes, you heard that right. If you want Khamzat Chimaev to appear in your stream or be featured in your video content, you better be ready to drop some serious cash. That's according to one of the internet's biggest streamers, Adin Ross, who recently made a claim that left both fans and fighters in complete disbelief. During one of his recent streams, Ross decided to share a behind-the-scenes story that, quite frankly, no one was expecting. He said, "I actually want to tell you something really funny. I don't care, I might air it out," he went on to explain. Prismile. Oh god, like, I connected Prismile with someone from Khamzat's team. And the guy said, $700,000 to stream with Khamzat. I never laughed so hard in my life. That kind of price tag immediately became the talk of the internet. When Ross repeated the number, his reaction made it clear how shocked he was. What the? Yeah, it was insane. $700K. For context, that's more money than many people make in an entire decade. And this wasn't for a fight, a tournament, or a major endorsement deal. This was simply to appear in a live stream. The price alone turned heads across the online and MMA worlds alike. It didn't take long for fighters to respond, and one of the first to chime in was Michael Chandler. Known for his competitive spirit and down-to-earth attitude, Chandler saw an opportunity for a little humor and took to Twitter. He wrote, "Yo Adin Ross, I'll go on your stream for way less than $700K. The tweet quickly gained traction, with fans laughing at the comparison and appreciating the self-awareness. Not every fighter, clearly, is pricing themselves like a Hollywood celebrity. Of course, the big question that followed was whether the $700,000 demand was even real. Some people believe it may have just been someone from Chimaev's camp testing the waters, seeing how much they could ask for, especially considering Ross is known to be incredibly wealthy. With massive sponsorships, brand deals, and streaming revenue, Ross is one of the highest paid content creators in the world. Still, others argue that Chimaev might actually be worth that kind of money. And honestly, they might have a point. He's become one of the biggest stars in MMA in record time. With an undefeated record, aggressive style, viral moments, and a massive online fan base, Chimaev isn't just a fighter, he's a brand. And he knows his value. Before his fight with Robert Whittaker last October, Chimaev said, "I'm happy with the money. I'm making more money than any champions. Money is not changing me. People will be the same. I'm staying humble as I was before." Whether or not the number was real, one thing is clear: Chimaev and his team know what he's worth, and they're not afraid to ask for it. It's bold, it's confident, and it's very Khamzat. Let's move on, because Dominic Reyes believes he won the first 3 rounds in his fight against Jon Jones. This one goes back to February 2020 when Reyes stepped into the octagon to challenge Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title. The bout was one of the most anticipated fights of that year, and it lived up to the hype in every way. After 5 intense rounds, Jones was awarded a unanimous decision victory and retained his title, but to this day, fans, analysts, and fighters continue to debate the legitimacy of that outcome. And Reyes, he hasn't backed down from his belief, not even a little bit. During a recent appearance on Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast, Reyes looked back on the fight with the same confidence he had during those first 3 rounds. When asked which rounds he believed he won, Reyes didn't hesitate. All 3. "First 3, easily," he said firmly. "First 3, he had nothing for me. He might have landed 2 punches in all 3 of those rounds." According to Reyes, his movement, pressure, and volume were more than enough to secure the first 15 minutes. But what about the championship rounds? Rounds 4 and 5, where many believe Jones began to turn the tide. Reyes addressed that too. Rounds 4 and 5, he took me down. He took me down 4 and 5, but I got up in 1.5 seconds. Like, now that counts as nothing, he explained. He took me down, wasted energy. I got up and then outed him. To Reyes, the takedowns lacked damage and didn't result in any real control, meaning they shouldn't have weighed heavily on the judges' scorecards. One of the more interesting moments in the interview came when Reyes talked about how he dealt with Jones's controversial and well-known tactic, his eye pokes. It's something many opponents have complained about, and Reyes came prepared. He credited Oven St. for teaching him a useful trick. Whenever Jones started reaching out with his fingers extended, Reyes would throw hammer fists at his hands. It was a straightforward method, but highly effective in discouraging the eye pokes that have plagued so many Jones fights. Reyes didn't stop there. He shared his take on the broader strategy for fighting someone as complex and dangerous as Jones. "Don't let him dictate the pace," he said. "If he wants to stand there, attack him. If he wants to attack you, move. He wants to grapple, break the grapple. He wants to strike, kick him." He described Jones as a genius inside the cage, someone who excels at pulling fighters into his rhythm, his style, and his game. That, Reyes believes, is the true battle when facing a legend like Jones. Now Reyes is scheduled to face Carlos Ulberg, and that fight could determine whether he makes another push toward the top. A big win over Ulberg would not only boost his momentum, but might put him right back in the title conversation. If he can tap into that same fire he brought against Jones, especially in those early rounds, Dominic Reyes could very well be on his way to another run at UFC Gold. Let's talk about Paddy Pimblett, because the baddie can't wait to retire so he can eat. And no, this isn't a joke, it's completely real. Paddy Pimblett, one of the UFC's most talked about rising stars, has earned a reputation not just for his exciting style and outspoken personality, but also for how drastically his body changes between fights. He's known for gaining a lot of weight during downtime, then cutting a considerable amount to hit the lightweight non-title limit of 156 pounds. It's become a signature part of his image, with fans just as intrigued by off-season Paddy as they are by fight night Paddy. Though he's made some effort to control his weight outside of training camp, when a fight is booked, Pimblett still goes through a significant and grueling cut. He's been vocal about how much he hates the process, admitting it takes a toll both physically and mentally. He doesn't hide his cravings, and he's brutally honest about how much he looks forward to the day when dieting is no longer a part of his life. In a recent YouTube video, Paddy said, "I look forward to the day where I don't have to diet. Like, don't have to diet. Don't have to think about getting on a set of scales and having a fight with a set of scales." That sums up the struggle. For him, the hardest battle isn't always in the cage, it's with the scale. The constant restriction, the discipline, the mental fatigue, it's all part of a fight few fans see. When asked how big he thinks he'll get in retirement, Paddy joked, "I don't know. If I don't have to get down, I'll be walking around at light heavyweight at least." That's 2 divisions up from where he competes, and whether he's exaggerating or not, it shows just how much he's held back for the sake of his career. One thing is certain, Paddy loves food. From burgers and pizza to cakes and sweets, his post-fight cheat meals have become legendary online. Fans eagerly watch what he'll eat next after every fight. But while many enjoy the show, some critics worry about the health risks. Rapid weight gain and extreme cutting can take a serious toll on the body over time, and some have raised concerns about how this could affect his performance or longevity in the sport. Still, Paddy is unapologetically himself. He's loud, charismatic, and transparent about what drives him. Fans appreciate that authenticity. While his next opponent hasn't been confirmed, the name Dan Hooker keeps coming up. A matchup between them would be a massive event packed with action, personality, and drama. Until then, Pimblett is doing his best to manage his weight, at least for now. But you know he's counting the days, because once retirement comes, he won't just leave the octagon behind. He'll be running straight to the buffet, ready to enjoy a life of food, freedom, and full plates.